Hey, welcome back. It's Brandon.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey guys, I wanted to discuss something I've been seeing, kind of make the rumor mill to be weary of or look at, and it seems to be quite a distraction. And I kind of want to refocus and make sure that hopefully this message gets out and is not um, a hindrance to anybody out there or makes them mad. But it seems to be this idea of lucid dreaming keeps popping up, about studying the dream state. And when I think about the dreaming state, it is associated with lucid, and that makes me think. I look at that word, I think Lucifer, and we all know about that word. So then I think, okay, dream. Well, what's the god of dreams? It's Morpheus, and just like in the Matrix movie, Neo and Trinity are trying to get out of the Matrix, but they're relying on Morpheus, who continues to put them in basically in an Inception style, deeper within the Matrix. And so, Carrie and I wanted to bring that up and talk a little bit about more of our thoughts on it.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I thought, I remember Morpheus saying the same thing, basically, that Martin Luther King said, which was, "I have a dream." And like you were saying, it just seemed that it kept spinning more and more into that dream. When I hear the word lucid, to me, it just kind of sounds like dirty light, um, or dirty energy. I think that there's probably a lot more to that word. You could get loose ID or lose your ID or identity.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it seems like it could be something that provides an opportunity for a disconnect or a split in the spirit or with connection with our higher self, even.
Yeah, and see, that makes me think like they want you to tell them your dreams and your wishes, your ambitions, and your desires, so they can cater to that. And being having a sales background, one of the things they train you on is the idea of punting down. I used to sell hot tubs, and when somebody would come in and I couldn't get the hot tub they wanted or it was on back order, the sales tactic is to punt down to the next best option and to help them kind of see why that's also a good tub. And so that makes me think of snake oil salesmen. Like, this is a false thing that they're pushing for you to engage in, having something in agreement with them, giving your consent away, much like we saw in that Wish movie, the Disney movie, where this an island full of people, and they all gave away their wish, and then after they did that, the sorcerer of the island became so powerful, and to the humans, they wouldn't think anything of it. They would just think that they're living a normal life, and this is all that there is. When in reality, they're being veiled, and this false light snake oil salesman and sorcerer took away their spiritual prowess.
Well, he did. And so what they did is they would tell him their dream, and then he would take it and save it in a bubble, and he had a whole ton of them. And then when they reached a certain age, then one person would be selected out of the thousands that would get a gift of having their wish come true. And so after the collection of all these memories, is what he was actually doing, was taking all their memories where the people couldn't remember who they were. And then when they would have their dream come true, it was a pretty disastrous result, if I remember correctly. But I think that that's what happens in our dream state, is that they're accessing the information that we go throughout the day, and then we try to sort it out in our own mind. They interject their own little bits of persuasion and try to get things going their way. And so with lucid dreaming, we try to get in, or some people can, and intentionally try to take control of those situations. I think, though, that I just wonder about it and how that plays in its effect in the real or waking world, I should say. Uh, because it seems to me that in these dreams, they find out what our desires are and what we think, what we want, what our hopes and dreams are, and then they put in our mind different ways to fulfill those. But they also use the time to make wounds worse, and to drive in more access points within themselves. And so when we engage in those types of things, and it's almost maybe a bantering back and forth uh, of the control, I guess, of the dream with these entities. In some cases, I'm not saying all of them, we're still granting them permission to access those things. And that's something I think that we should think very carefully about. I think it's an opportunity to mix darkness and light as energetic things, not colors, but as energetic densities.
Yeah, and the idea of like spirit needing to sleep has always been an issue with me. Like, why would a boundless being need to take a break and rest? Because that would be coming from a place of lack. Like, oh, I need a
Mm-hmm.
sandwich for lunch, or I need a beer before bed, or whatever the case. It, that just doesn't sound like truth to me. Oh, that in the movie Dark City, they're rearranging the city when people are asleep. So it goes back to the idea of the hypostasis or hypnotic thing, or even like the QHHT stuff. Like you're being put under a certain thing in which you are unable to be awareness and have control. It's not like you're picking and choosing who and what and things in the dream. These things are being presented to you as
Yes.
if they're own, and they always have a very kind of like slight familiarity. Like it's you in the dream, but like you can't see you. Also, or like you know that your friend is there, but like you can't really tell it's them if you're just looking at it, but you have a feel of it. So they tie in and they hook in or anchor in to um, I think Carrie's absolutely spot on with the past, especially. They want to play that guilt and shame trick against us. Like you were saying, they want to tie into something familiar to us, thus us giving consent and granting them access.
Well, absolutely. And here's the thing about it. You just touched on the guilt and shame thing. They find the ways that they can gain access to us so that when we pass from this world to the next, or transition or die, however you want to use the word, um, then they know what to come at us with that will more likely produce the result they want as opposed to what we want. So if we have an issue with shame and we can be shamed into following a certain belief system or thinking that we need to come back and fix things because we're ashamed of this and that, they will use that against us. And so all of this is their own information gathering sessions, basically, and we take it right to them, just like when we use our devices. And mine has been on a roll lately of nearly everything I say is coming up in an ad or an article of some type for me to read. And I'm thinking, I wasn't even discussing this around my phone. So I don't know if it's, reading my mind or what, but I think the main way that we stand against these things is to be aware that they're going on, but to maintain a degree of inner purity and our own healing. And as we let go of more that retains us here, whether it's positive nostalgia for the place or disdain and hatred, I'm just of the opinion we kind of need to have neither, because the power of hatred is just as strong as the power of what people think love is. And it's something that will bind you and tie you to something. If you were truly neutral, it would not matter to you what someone else did.
I was talking to a good buddy of mine, Infinite Corridors. If you guys haven't checked out that channel, guy's brilliant. It's on YouTube, and he puts a lot of video out there and talks about all things Matrix and going back home as well. But he and I were talking within the last week, and the film Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, keyword there, thief, and light. There's a scene in there called the Lotus Cafe, where the three main characters, Percy and his two buddies, go into this casino, and they are presented right when they get in with what's called a Lotus cookie, and they're on a hero's journey to beat the gods or whatever, save the world,
Return the lightning bolt.
and return the lightning bolt. That's it, and they're sitting there saying, "We can't stay here long, guys. Let's just get what we need and get on the road." And so then they get presented with these cookies, and they take one bite, and they start giggling, laughing, saying how cool this place is. Oh, we can stay here as long as we want. Basically, numbing out that memory of what they were there to do in order to help more people. And so they go through this scene, and they're painting nails, they're getting married, they're standing on stage. If you try and find it on YouTube, you won't find it because I looked for about 30 minutes, so you'll have to find it like on Disney Plus or something. Which is interestingly enough, when I went to find this video to record it for Jared to send to him, it just happened to load right at that scene. So that gave me plenty of confirmation that we're on the right track with this. But back to the scene itself, they're sitting there, they're dancing, and Percy's sitting at the bar and he's about to take a bite of another cookie, and he hears the father's voice say, "Don't do it, don't do it." Basically, it's a bad thing that they're keeping you there in like a prisoner situation, prison planet, etc. But he goes to his friends to try and tell them that they've been here for a little while, and they don't believe him. So he has to knock the cookies out of their hands. Like he had to forcibly say stop. Um, and because they didn't know how long they had been there. In the middle of that scene, there's a guy playing pinball that Percy approaches, and it's a pinball game based on a movie of something from 1971. And Percy said, "I've seen this movie," and the guy says it's the best movie of the year. He asks what year it is. He says 1971, and that's been like 30 or 40 years ago at this point. And Percy's like, "Holy crap! I don't know how long we've been here." And so, to make a long story short, they end up getting out of this situation, and I thought they were there for a couple hours, but it turned out to be 5 days. Which this is again back to like the overall, MO of these people. It's divide and conquer. That's a big one, and the problem reaction solution. So they create a problem. They watch how you react, and they present you with a solution. Just like the Lotus Cafe, just like HEALTH organizations or GOVT organizations. All of it's the same.
It is. And then what happens when substances are brought into the body in that situation that we saw in that movie is that they lose all ability to appropriately discern what's really going on. And so then they fall into error thinking that it's true and that it's the way to be because they changed their uh, life mission from uh, being there to return the lightning bolt to Zeus, or they changed it to they were only there to have fun, and they decided that was their life purpose on this earth, was that they were just there to have fun. And so what happens when the substances are used in that, um, it brings in the discernment issue, and so that brings us into forgetfulness. And that's where I'll go back to the word that is used as the word of truth in the New Testament when Yeshua was talking about sending the Spirit of truth. The correct word in the Greek is aletheia, and that does not mean truth as we understand it. It means the unforgetting, not really just the remembering, but it is the unforgetting. And so that's what happens. They had totally forgotten who they were, what their mission was, and the substance led them to be more open to connecting with error and leaving the true path, which to me, truth is being aligned, perfectly aligned with who you truly are and where your journey will be leading you.
Another thought I had from my background, I used to play a lot of video games, and Halo was my favorite. I mean, I remember traveling for tournaments in high school and around the country for it because I really, really enjoyed it. But ever since stopping with video games completely, I do occasionally like watch people play them or watch like a tournament stream or something, just to kind of take it easy for a minute. But in the world of Halo, there is the number one player. I mean, if you were to watch him, you would think it's like Michael Jordan playing with elementary school kids. Like the guy doesn't miss, and he came on the scene out of nowhere, in my opinion. And it just so happens that his name is Lucid. And I'm not throwing shade at him individually or any of that. It's just a coincidence, which I don't believe in, that this person wins these world championships. Has his own streaming platform. Is this great player when you watch him, and it happens to be Lucid. Yet again, selling out in some way for somebody to present you with what you want, so you take the bait. Therefore, you had been lured into this, just like being lured into the idea of lucid dreaming.
Well, it is when you make it a part of your life or a part of like a focal area of it. I mean, I think sometimes we have to experience things and then we can decide for ourselves. We're not trying to tell anyone yay or nay or do or don't. It's just erring on the side of caution that there are often things that the world says everyone should do or needs to do or must do. Those are generally the things that I tend to stay away from. And
I don't want
bring
to
in
study an unconscious state. I want to
right,
study consciousness awareness states.
because that's the only thing that we get out of here with is
Right.
ultimately is our consciousness and our conscience. And I think the clearer we can keep that, and the most unimpaired. I don't want mine impaired anymore. There was a time when, hey, that's cool, but not now.
All right, guys. I hope this has helped kind of settle the mysterious lucid dreaming that everybody wants to take a ride on. Hopefully, you guys will see the short that we posted. We're going to do a live stream tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you've made it this far, thank you for all the love and support. We appreciate you guys, and we look forward to talking to you in the next one.